Welcome back, everyone, to Pod of Thrones. I'm Jeff.
I'm Jennifer.
We have a really cool show to talk about today. Invincible on Amazon Prime. And that might take us a little bit to get through. But, we always like to start our show with a couple headlines, and I needed your opinion on this one. I have two headlines to talk about. One is very happy, and one is very sad. Where should we start?
Sad.
Sad headline? Okay. The sad headline is not a Game of Thrones headline, but it is related to stuff we've been talking about for a while, and that is the very, very regrettable death of Michael K. Williams. Most recently of Lovecraft Country, but he's been in so many things. I guess he's most famous for being on The Wire, a show that we've never watched that I get lots of shit about sometime from people. We knew him as Montrose from Lovecraft Country, and he was also on Community. I mean, he's been in tons of stuff, but do you remember Community? He showed up. He was that very mysterious, kind of angry teacher. I think he was like a biology teacher or something. You don't remember him? He's been in tons of things, but he died apparently of a drug overdose or similar.
Yeah, that heroin will get you.
Well, the theory seems to be, and I don't think it's been confirmed yet, one way or the other, but the theory seems to be that it was something, maybe heroin laced with fentanyl, which has been taking out a lot of people recently.
Yes.
I don't quite get it.
It seems like fentanyl would be expensive.
And also you don't need very much of it, right? Like tiny, just a couple grains of sand basically would get you a dose of fentanyl. So I don't understand why it's being added to heroin unless it just that little
I don't know.
makes the heroin feel better. Like does it improve the high?
I don't know. I was watching a documentary on Flocka recently, and they were saying
Do you want
that
to say what that is? Flocka.
It's like I think it's like a replacement for heroin, but cheaper, and it's all synthetic, and people lace that with fentanyl, and that's what kills people also. So fentanyl must be either easier to get or easier to create or cheaper. I don't know, but I don't know.
Well, I guess what's been happening is that, done properly, you can add a little bit of fentanyl to some drug and it's just as quote unquote safe as ever. But drug dealers get sloppy. And if they don't pay attention to what they're doing, then you just get a little bit too much of that shit and then you die fast. Because fentanyl, I guess, is extremely deadly. So that's sad.
Yeah.
There wasn't going to be a Lovecraft Country season 2 anyway, but still very sad. Yeah. Rest in peace, Michael K. Williams. You ready for the good news then?
Yes.
The good news is we still have Shorty the new dog. Only pees in the house once in a while now. He's lying there watching us and being a good boy.
That's the only good news.
No, there's other good news. No, this is the big news. I think we talked about this in our lives, but HBO has announced a Game of Thrones official fan convention.
Oh.
We talked about that, didn't we?
I don't know.
Briefly. I don't think I read you all the details, but it's coming up February 18th through the 20th, 2022 at the Rio Convention Center in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, yeah, we did talk about this.
So the good news, not that far away from us. We could get there. The bad news, it's Vegas.
Well, it's in April.
February.
Which is...
That might be an okay time to go to Vegas.
No, I'm just saying that because we already have a vacation scheduled around March.
We are doing our own thing around March to celebrate your birthday, going on a little trip. But,
we'll make it work.
I think we got to try, right?
Yes.
So if anyone's thinking about going, well, I'll read you a little bit from the press release. In anticipation of the upcoming new HBO series House of the Dragon, the prequel to Game of Thrones, Warner Brothers Themed Entertainment and Creation Entertainment have partnered to bring the ultimate Game of Thrones official fan convention, the first officially licensed fan convention commemorating HBO's iconic and world-renowned series Game of Thrones to the Rio, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Fans of the franchise can expect an action-packed experience with 3 days of programming featuring special guests, panel discussions, cosplay. Cosplay. Do you think you can resurrect your dress?
My Sansa dress?
Yeah.
I think I would want to be somebody else.
Okay, fine. Panel discussions, cosplay, and trivia competitions. Oh, man. Autograph signing sessions, photo opportunities, sales of exclusive Game of Thrones merchandise, and more. Autograph signing sessions means
somebody's going to be there. I bet what's his name?
I don't know.
Hodor's name. He always goes to
Christian
those
Nairn?
Yeah, Christian Nairn.
He always comes to this stuff. He likes to have fun.
I wonder who else.
What?
I wonder who else will be there.
I don't know, but I hope we can find some of them, The full convention schedule along with ticket pricing and on-sale dates will be announced in the coming months. I mean, look, if we're going to go, I would like to go as press like we do the Comic-Con. That would be ideal. So I'm going to work that angle and see what I can pull off. Wish us luck, everybody. Let's see, there's some quotes. Our goal is to provide a grand celebration of all things Game of Thrones, a nonstop celebration for our fellow fans. The uniquely dynamic universe of Game of Thrones and its tremendous fans allow us an unprecedented opportunity to bring innovative entertainment to our audiences. So
that's cool. What's the website people can look at?
That is a good. Okay, so I'm looking at the press release, which is on creationent.com, Creation Entertainment. Let's see, I signed up for their newsletter. I don't know if there's any other place to go for it right now. But I'll see if I can find. I'll either put this link or if I can find a better link, I will put. Oh my God!
So is Warner Brothers part of HBO?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I just clicked on Creation Entertainment's homepage, and they've got Game of Thrones there. They've got Supernatural, Vampire Diaries, A Salute to Xena, the 25th anniversary convention. But the best one of all, March 18th through 20th, 2022. Oh, that might be when we're gone. That is when we're gone.
What is it?
On your birthday trip. It's in Burbank. Oh my God, we could totally go. The official convention for General Hospital.
Oh. Oh.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yes.
But we're going to be out of town. Damn it.
I don't know about that. I wonder if, oh my gosh, I can't imagine who would show up.
Was that the Luke and Laura one?
Yes.
Okay. They're still doing the show, I think.
I think so.
Did you used to watch it?
Mm-hmm.
I never did. My sister got me into when I was too little to take control of the TV. And of course, I admit I wound up getting hooked. But she got me into Days of Our Lives when we were little during summer vacations. I guess I was little. She was probably a tween.
How funny.
If I'm guessing.
I can't believe they have a convention.
Shit's still big. It amazes me that in the age of the streaming and the YouTube and so many different entertainment options, that these soap operas on network TV still have big enough followings for a convention. That is impressive.
Well, a lot of people don't now. They don't stream. Like old people, they just watch TV.
Yeah, there's that. I suppose there is a chance, and I don't have any way to find this out. I don't have those kind of media connections. There is a chance that the General Hospital audience is aging.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that don't know how to do the Netflix and all the, yeah.
Like someone like your mom.
Right.
She could be watching TV and just be totally happy watching The Price is Right and General Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Never know that Netflix even existed if she hadn't hung out at our house.
Right. Let's get to Invincible.
Fine. You don't want to talk more about General Hospital?
No.
So we don't really have any other news about the Game of Thrones fan convention, but I will say if you think you might be going to Las Vegas in February of 2022, we should talk.
Yes.
So, because sometimes I forget to say this at the end of the show anyway, reach out to us. Jeff at potofthrones.com or at potofthrones on Twitter.
Jennifer at potofthrones.com or at KidFreeWeekend on Twitter.
Right. Please tell us if you think you might be going to this. All right. Now, this was something that was kind of on my radar anyway, but a couple people told me that we should definitely watch Invincible. So we're just going to run through the first season, which is only 8 episodes. Didn't take a tremendous time investment to watch.
We're going to run through all 8 episodes?
Is that a problem?
Well, that might take a while.
I mean, we did it with the Underground Railroad.
Okay.
That show was much slower. Far less epic battle scenes.
All right.
All right. I don't know why you're doubting our skills. But to start with, I thought the show was pretty compelling from the beginning, but I knew that something crazy and or dark was going to happen. You didn't seem that enthused about the first episode.
It was the setup episode. It was a little slow, you know. I was just like, all right.
Meeting all the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk about that, and then we'll discuss when things turned around. Invincible starts off very basic superhero kind of stuff. A couple bad guys that are named the Mahler Twins. They pop out of the ground. They're going to attack the White House or maybe kill the president or something. And who could stop them? They're clearly bulletproof, except their eyeballs. And then, just as things are looking bleak for Secret Service, the Guardians of the Globe arrive. And they're going to save the day. We've got, I didn't write down all their names, but there's War Woman and Immortal. I think one's called Darkwing. He's a lot like Batman, and not at all like Darkwing Duck. Very strange. There's a Flash guy. I can't remember his name right now. Like a super speedy guy. So they're holding their own against the Mahler Twins. And then we get to meet the ultimate hero, Omni-Man.
Omni-Man.
He's got an awesome mustache.
Yes, he's Tom Selleck.
He's got a real Silver Fox thing going with his...
he's like buffed out Tom Selleck.
Very buff.
But a little more handsome.
You'd take him over Tom Selleck?
Well, I wouldn't take him, no, but I mean he's better than Tom Selleck, I think.
Right. And they show up. Omni-Man shows up too. The Mahler Twins don't really have a chance at that point, and they are taken down and arrested. We find out that Omni-Man has a sort of a normal life. He flies home. His name is Nolan. He has a wife named Debbie and a son named Mark, who's a teenager. Incidentally, played by Steven Yeun from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I keep thinking about that. After every episode, I'm like, I can't place him as being Glenn from The Walking Dead, a fully grown adult. Like, he does a great job being Mark, angsty teenager.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Great voice acting. So we meet this family, this idyllic little suburban existence. Mark goes to high school. He likes this girl named Amber, and she's getting hit on by this bully named Todd. So Mark stands up to him, and then Todd punches him in the stomach. Womp womp. You know, he gets bullied a little bit. He's not a cool kid. He's not a tough kid.
Despite being good looking.
Of course. Well, his shirt's always untucked. You know.
That makes
his shirt's askew. Yeah.
That makes you unlikable.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I like how the show still follows some of those like old comic tropes of like everybody's always wearing the same outfit all the time. Like if Mark's in his teenage boy outfit, it's like a sweater with a yellow shirt, and then one corner of the shirt is untucked and sort of out.
Huh. I didn't notice that.
Like Debbie, the wife, she's always wearing the same like turquoise shirt and tan slacks.
I didn't notice that.
We also meet Mark's best friend, William, who is
gay
as the day is long, and it's not a big deal, which is another thing that I love about new entertainment. It's like, it's the normal. You got a gay best friend, he's into dudes and whatever. It's all good. Like, we don't need to have a discussion about it. It just is what it is. Love that. So eventually Mark's at work one night and kind of frustrated, and he starts growing superpowers, which is a thing that he wasn't sure if he'd ever get because his dad has them, but he didn't have them. When he tells his dad, Nolan seems confused or scared even, not happy.
Right.
Like there's a weird expression on his face, but Debbie kicks him under the table and he's like, hey, this is great news. Well, I'll train you how to be a superhero. And there's all sorts of training montages, learning how to fly and learning how to throw a punch and how to take a punch and all sorts of things there. And eventually Mark goes vigilante, kind of like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, just puts on like a tracksuit and pajamas and a mask over his face. And he goes vigilante, and I only mention this because he does stop a robbery, and he tussles with the guy who we will come later to know as Titan, who covers himself in stone. It's a messy operation, but he does manage to take down a bad guy. And Nolan takes him to get his super suit from this guy, Art Rosenbaum, tailor to the stars. And I want to just mention the fact that his voice actor is Mark Hamill, which I did not realize until way late in the series. And now I'm like, maybe I should go back and watch it because Mark Hamill's awesome. I don't know. I never would have guessed it was him. And blah, blah, blah. It's this origin story. Not that exciting for you. I like an origin story, but even then it was mostly like teen drama, like nothing fancy. Very milquetoast origin story.
Until the end.
And then I think the credits started to roll first, even. I can't quite remember for sure. But the Guardians of the Globe are all doing their own thing, and they get distress call, and like you report to Guardians HQ. We all have to come together, so they all leave what they're doing, and they get to their headquarters, the Guardians of the Globe, and then Omni-Man, Nolan, walks in, and they're like, "Hey, what's going on? Did you call us here?"
Well, I don't remember what he said.
He didn't say anything, I don't think.
But he started kicking their butts.
He started kicking their butts. Now you had a couple moments of like,
yeah,
just utter shock at how violent a very colorful cartoon could be.
Right. Well, I can't exactly remember everything that happened, but I mean, he like obliterated them literally. He like, I think popped some heads.
A couple heads got popped.
And amputated, and it was just a bloodbath. I was after all this nice start, it was just so violent and blood everywhere and explosions of internal organs. It was bad.
It was pretty awesome. And they took it to him. I mean, they fought back. A couple of the guys were not particularly effective, but the Flash guy was able to like punch so fast and hard that he did a lot of damage to Nolan's chest, and War Woman was able to club him a few times, and he was bleeding. Like he's not Superman level. Like Superman is basically indestructible unless you have kryptonite. So Nolan's not quite up there, which gives us some hope that like there's a way to take down someone like Omni-Man. They were able to do some damage, but they lost. And he killed every single one of them, and then he collapsed.
Right, he fainted.
Because he had sustained a lot of damage himself. And then some people come in and start taking bodies away. And they're like, what the shit happened here? Oh, this one's still alive, and it's Nolan. Still has a heartbeat. That was episode 1. I think it was longer than most of the other episodes, and it set everything up and then shocked the hell out of us. Oh, I loved it. Okay.
It hooked you right there.
Yep. Episode 2, we meet the Global Defense Agency. Those are the guys that came in and took all the bodies away. The main guys from there are Cecil, this old man with a scarred up face, and then Donald, who I swear anyone that's listening to this, tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think he looks just like Gary Shandling, but with a buzz cut. But you just thought he was funny looking?
Yeah.
Right. So we meet these guys. They're helping patch Nolan back together. They're not sure what the hell happened. Of course, most people that they're going to be scared. Like, who could kill all the Guardians of the Globe at once, right? And then the Earth gets attacked by Flaxons. Yep, Flaxons. And that allows us to meet Teen Team.
They're replacing.
Well, they're just in town at the time, I guess. We have Robot, very clever name. Atom Eve, which I love.
Yes, that's
a great
cute.
Name. Duplicate. Yeah, I love that one too. So Adam Eve can like make these pink force fields and manipulate matter
Atoms.
and sort of change it to do whatever she wants. Duplicate can copy herself. But what a great name. How has no one thought of that before in the history of comic books? Duplicate.
Maybe they have.
It's brilliant. And then Rex Splode, who is obnoxious as hell. I love the voice actor Jason Mantzoukas. You know him from The Good Place, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He tends to play just a crazy, wild motherfucker, and he's great at it. And here, he's really irritating. But I know it's him, and I love him. They beat back... Oh, and Mark helps, and they beat back the Flaxons, who start to, like, age out of control, and then they retreat, but then they come back a couple days later, and then they come back a couple days later, and the fights keep getting harder and harder, and they keep like modifying their technology, and no one understands what's happening. But someone figures out that like their home dimension must be on like a different time spectrum where time moves slower there than it does on Earth. So when they come to Earth, they age, but then they sort of engineered their way around that. And eventually Nolan gets out of the hospital, has to get involved, and winds up following them into their little interdimensional portal. And we see footage of him just destroying their home planet. I think he screams like Earth is mine at some point, and then decimates them. I thought it might have been a full genocide, but it wasn't. But he did knock them down really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make them think twice before attacking Earth again. So all that stuff happens. We didn't talk about the fact that Nolan is a Viltrumite. He talks to Mark about that. He comes from the planet Viltrum, a planet full of noble warriors who altruistically go out into the universe to help other planets.
Right. And the way they became so powerful was weeding out the weak. They fought each other until all the weak were dead. Well,
we find that out later. But yes, they had like a civil war and only the strongest survived. I don't know if that matters, but he is an alien. He's not some other kind of superhero. After all of this, and I think it's because Nolan is gone in another dimension, someone approaches the Earth named Alan the Alien. And he's been around before. I think he's played by Seth Rogen, which is kind of awesome. But Nolan's not around, so Mark goes into outer space to talk to him. And he's checking out Earth for the coalition of planets, except he's actually at the wrong planet. He was supposed to be at Urath, but he came to Earth, and it was a whole funny moment, which seems completely wasted, except by the end of the season. And Cecil reaches out to a guy named Damien Darkblood. He's cool, dude.
Yes, he's a demon.
He's an actual demon who is trying to redeem his soul. He escaped hell, and he's trying to redeem his eternal damnation by solving crimes.
Yeah.
So he's wearing a trench coat and a hat, like a fedora.
He's got a big fat pot belly.
He got a big fat demon belly. He's awesome.
He is.
I love him. I wish I could just have coffee with him. That'd be super cool. But he goes into the Guardians headquarters and starts investigating, thinks something fishy's up, which obviously, I mean, all the Guardians of the Globe are dead, but he's going to try to figure this out. And that's episode 2. See how fast we're going?
Yep.
We're going to make it through a whole season, no problem. Episode 3, we have the burial of the Guardians in a secret place. But Damien Darkblood shows up and starts questioning Nolan about what he saw. He didn't see anything. What was his involvement in all this? He's at least a little bit suspicious. And I would love to know, I mean, he's a demon. It implies he already died once and went to hell and then became a demon or whatever. So is he not, like, can Nolan not kill him? I would just love to know for sure, because Nolan never tries to take him out.
Yeah.
And I wonder if he could or not. Anyway, the Global Defense Agency says we need new Guardians of the Globe, and they put Robot, the leader of the teen team, in charge. So he's got to put together a whole new team. There is some hilarity with their training sessions and stuff, but ultimately we get a few new heroes, plus the original teen team. We get Black Samson, who I guess was an original Guardian, but lost his powers and wears a suit of armor now. Shrinking Ray, she can shrink. And Monster Girl, who is awesome.
Yes.
A cute little girl turns into an indestructible Hulk and then ages backwards because of it.
Right. Every time she turns into the monster, she gets younger.
That is a tough gig.
So eventually she'll be a baby.
which would be weird as hell if that baby then freaks out and becomes a 15-foot tall, muscular super monster. Her mentality seems to still be like 25 or whatever, so maybe that would also be a baby who can talk and think like an adult.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
But like crawls. I don't know. Hopefully it won't come to that. Now, of the teen team, Adam Eve, she winds up quitting the team because she caught Duplicate and Rexplode fucking in a shower. So she's all...
Yes.
She's very rightfully hurt. Because he was kind of a dick anyway, like not a great boyfriend, but then he's cheating on her with multiple Kates on top of that. Incidentally, that actually is kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, I bet.
Yep. just putting that out there. So, Mark has impressed Amber by standing up to the bully. And he finally gets a study date with her. But then he gets called away to go fight a bad guy who I think, again, is worth mentioning because I think he's going to come back again, named Doc Seismic. He has a whole thing with Eve. They wind up stopping the guy. And in the middle of all of that, the Mahler Twins, the big blue guys from episode 1, wind up escaping the Global Defense Agency prison. Someone let them out of their cages and even gave them an assist or two on their way out of the building. And at the very end of it, after one of them dies... during the escape from this huge laser gun. One of them dies, one of them escapes, and we find out that the person helping them was Robot, leader of the teen team, and now leader of the new Guardians of the Globe. How could this be? Is he actually the big villain in all of this? Maybe he took over Nolan's brain, which is something people were wondering. Maybe
right,
Nolan
that's
was
what I
being
thought.
mind-controlled.
Somebody, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. Episode 4. So Mark volunteers for a mission to go to Mars. Oh, and his superhero name is Invincible. We haven't been calling him that. That's where the show comes from. So Invincible goes to Mars to keep an eye on a bunch of astronauts that don't know he's there. Now, there are Martians on Mars. One of the old Guardians of the Globe was Martian Man. And the Martians kidnap the astronauts. Mark has to go find them. It turns out the Martians aren't necessarily bad guys, but they do have a problem with a bunch of parasites called sequids that suck onto your face and then take over your brain. Kind of like what we just saw in the Suicide Squad, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
With Starro and his little Starro babies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like that. They get on your face to take you over, but they can't take over Martians because the Martians are shapeshifters, and I guess they can just get them right off their face like that. So right now it's not a problem, but if they get onto a human face, it's only going to take one of them to like suck up a human's brain waves and then turn the sequids into this unstoppable parasite force.
Yeah.
So they're going to kill the humans just to make sure it doesn't happen. And
Reasonable.
Mark the hero, Invincible, he gets the humans out of there, overpowers the Martians, saves the day, kinda, except one of the humans gets left behind, gets a sequid on his face, and now the Martians are in deep, deep doo-doo.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is going to be a season 2 episode. So all that stuff happens. Meanwhile, Nolan and Debbie take a vacation to Italy, and she's definitely suspicious of him and what's going on, because he's not acting normal.
Right.
But he sort of wins her back over. They have a nice heart-to-heart talk. Everything might be okay. Damien Darkblood takes this opportunity to get inside their house and start investigating, but Cecil captures him and banishes him back to hell, which makes me sad, because I like that guy.
Yeah.
What Cecil doesn't know is that Damien left his notebook behind in Debbie's closet.
On purpose?
Yeah, I think so. And then Robot, the guy who may or may not be a villain, steals a little bit of Rex's blood, Rexplode's blood. And and the one surviving Mahler twin is making a new Mahler twin because he's a cloner. That's what they do. What's going on with Robot? I don't know. We're going to find out. Episode 5. Debbie searches around the house and finds Nolan's old supersuit, the one that got really messed up during his fight with the Guardians of the Globe. She's going to try to find out if there's anything that would be evidence on there.
Mm-hmm.
It is covered in blood.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Why would you keep it? Like, Nolan demanded that he gets it back. Clearly to stop an investigation. Why would he then keep it?
Maybe it's indestructible.
I would take it out into space. Just throw it
Float
into
it.
the sun. Throw it into the sun. There you go.
Oh, yeah, he could do that totally.
The sun will...
Or take it to like a different planet that's unoccupied and bury it.
Sure. All sorts of options. But he just kept it sitting above like the fireplace or whatever. So she finds his old super suit. Mark has another thing with Amber. They're going to serve soup at a soup kitchen. But he gets tangled up with that guy, Titan, who seems like a really nice guy who's just trying to make a buck for his kid.
Right.
But he's stuck working for this guy named Machine Head, who I love. I'm going to miss that guy. I hope he comes back later with his auto-tune voice.
I know, I love that.
That guy was awesome. And Nolan tries to warn him, these things might not turn out to be what you think. And it got really ugly. So Mark winds up getting into a fight with a bunch of like super villains and interdimensional beings.
Mm-hmm. A giant tiger.
And
tiger guy.
Yeah, Battle Beast.
Battle Beast.
Yeah, he's the worst of all of them. There was there was one guy with like pink ribbons that came out of his body and would wrap around you.
I don't know. That was
I want
weird.
to know if those were a gadget or if those are actually part of his body, because it's really gross.
They seemed like part of his body.
And there was an electro guy and I don't know, a couple others, but Mark's not up to the task. But hey, the Guardians of the Globe show up, but they're not really working as a team yet. And basically everyone gets their asses kicked.
Mm-hmm.
And most of it's because of Battle Beast. He caves in Mark's chest.
Yeah.
It was bloody. And then he also beats the shit out of Monster Girl, who almost takes him. But Battle Beast is just stronger and more battly.
Mm-hmm.
And he really gives her some bad head wounds, too. So it almost goes south. But at the very end, the Guardians managed to work together enough to beat most of the bad guys. And then Battle Beast's just like, this is lame, I'm out.
Yeah.
And again, in what will probably come back to haunt us in season 2, or haunt Mark at least, Machine Head is taken out, but this was all part of Titan's plan, and Titan is now taking over Machine Head's empire.
Right.
So we'll see. He's the new crime lord of whatever city it is they're in. Yep. But Mark gets taken away. He's in the hospital now, like Nolan was. And they're going to fix him. And I think he heals really fast because he's a Viltrumite. But Cecil gets a little vial of Mark's blood in the middle of all this, and they start running tests on it to see what can hurt him or kill him, more to the point. We know he can be hurt, but can he be killed? And then after all that, or in the middle of all of that, Robot shows up at the Mahler's place, because there's 2 of them again, and makes a deal with them. He needs their help with something. Ba, ba, ba.
What could that be?
I don't know. Episode 6. Mark's out of the hospital. He's getting along with Amber again, even though she's having real problems with all of his running off to go do super things. And he hasn't told her why. He just keeps ditching her. But he gets inspired to go visit a college, the nearby university. William has a man friend out there, a young college student named Rick. And Amber and Invincible tag along. Amber and Mark tag along. We meet a guy named D.A. Sinclair, who I guess is a student there, and a total douchebag.
Yes. He's the smartest kid in the campus.
Or more.
Right.
He knows a lot
genius.
about science.
He's
definitely a genius, right?
Evil genius.
Uh-huh. And definitely evil. Like, evil just irradiates off of him. Like, we don't need to know even... There was an opening scene where someone gets kidnapped and starts getting parts cut off of them, and we don't need to know anything. As soon as you see D.A. Sinclair, you know he's the guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this cyborg monster bursts out in the middle of the campus quad and starts...
One eye. Yeah,
kill
he's
people.
got like... He reminds me of somebody from Hellraiser.
Yes.
That guy from Hellraiser.
Yes. He could be a what do they call it? Like pain sculptures or something like that, right? Yeah, the Hellraiser demons.
Yeah, the one that had his like teeth pulled back by like wire, his face pulled back by wires, and his teeth were showing.
Have you seen all those movies? I think I've only seen one.
I think I have seen them all. Are there 3?
Wow. I don't know.
I think I've seen them all.
Huh. Yeah, it does look a lot like a Hellraiser pain sculpture for sure. And Mark has to run off and become invincible to save his secret identity, he manages to just barely beat this one cyborg. Like, it still hurts him. And
Yeah, kind of weird.
punches
Being
him.
invincible, you would think.
Yeah, this is...
He's not really invincible.
This is something I keep thinking about. Yeah, his name is Invincible, and he's probably bulletproof. But he gets hurt a lot.
Yeah.
By a lot of different things. That is very much not Superman. But Mark wins, and then Amber's like, fuck you, buddy, for running off. And
right, she doesn't realize it's him yet.
Or she does, but she's mad at him anyway. Like,
kind of weird.
Later on, she says, I've known you were a superhero forever.
Well, then why get so mad, you dummy?
Yeah, well, she's like, don't lie to me. Maybe it's just teenage angst. I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those things where, like, she's not really thinking rationally. Like, she knows the secret, but still holding it against him.
Because he's lying.
Well, because he's lying. But, like, if you know anything about superheroes, you know that they try to keep their secret identities so that the people that they love can be safe.
Sure.
That's the whole point of all of it, is just safety for the people you love.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Spider-Man and Aunt May. If Peter Parker gets revealed, then Aunt May could get attacked by all the supervillains.
Right.
You don't want that.
No.
But I guess she does. But she dumps him. And then after that, Rick, the boyfriend, gets kidnapped. And then he gets turned into a cyborg. And it's a whole thing. William is about to get converted too. Mark winds up saving William. And they kind of convert Rick back to, like, rationality. And that's pretty much the only reason Mark wins that fight, is because cyborg Rick winds up helping out. Because Mark got his ass kicked again.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he's getting bitten and punched and crushed. He was not going to win that fight. And then Cecil arrives and takes the cyborgs and D.A. Sinclair away. No regular police needed for this. Cecil is intrigued. During all of this, Art takes Debbie down into his workshop and says, here's the proof from that supersuit that you gave me. Nolan is definitely the guy that attacked all the Guardians of the Globe. Here's all of their blood. Here's how I pieced it all back together. Yep. In the hospital, Robot is helping heal Monster Girl and refuses to leave her side. The Maulers aren't sure if they can trust Robot. They want a backup plan, and that backup plan appears to be taking the body of Immortal, the dead Guardian of the Globe, back to their lab. And Eve says, I've had enough of being a superhero. I'm going to just go leave my parents behind. Her dad's an asshole.
Yeah, they're not great parents.
Well, her mom's okay, right? Like, she's kind of on her side.
She's a little better, but she's still a idiot.
But dad's almost like, he's almost like super racist. He's like, stop being a superhero and just be a normal person. That's what's best for you.
Right.
Like, she can do anything.
Right. They don't believe in her.
Ugh, just upsetting. Poor kid. So she leaves and builds herself a treehouse and decides to dedicate her life to helping actual people.
Mm-hmm.
No more fighting superhero battles. Let's just help. Let's just make the world a better place. She can create water and crops and solve problems all around the world. It's exactly what we need our billionaires to do.
Yes.
Just take everything you got and you could fix the fucking world. So Eve's actually doing it. She's the true hero of the whole show. And that brings us to episode 7. So the whole thing with Robot finally comes to a head. They've cloned Rex, and then Robot wheels in this very deformed body in a tank full of green liquid. And it turns out that's the real Robot.
Right.
Yep.
So he's like Stephen Hawking, sort of.
I guess. Just can't move your body, stuck in this one position. Yeah, I can see the similarity. It's a super Stephen Hawking. If Stephen Hawking could have made a robot body for himself and controlled it with his mind.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a great way to sort of cure ALS. Just make them a new body. It's a good idea. We should work on this.
Okay. You think he would be working on it?
Well, he's dead now. He didn't think of it. He didn't see Invincible. He died before Invincible came out. So
well, I think he would have had that idea. Maybe he did.
Maybe he did. Maybe, I don't know. We'll find out someday when the first robot body comes to fruition. So yeah, Robot is ready to sacrifice this horribly deformed body to get his brain transferred into Rex's body. Teenage Rex. They didn't grow him all the way.
A clone.
Yeah.
Teenager, right.
The clone of Rex. That winds up working, and now Rex his name is Rudy. So Rudy is Teenage Rex, right? So Rudy had a thing implanted in him where now he can control all of Robot's stuff. Kind of like the old mutant could, I guess. But like, I don't know. He's got control over all the gadgets. It's pretty cool. And the whole thing, there was a deal where like the Mahler twins would get the schematics for a control collar. We don't really know what that's going to do, assumedly some kind of mind control. But they have this deal. And then Rudy's like, no, I'm not going to actually let you guys do this. You guys are criminals. So Rudy Robot was not the bad guy the whole time, I guess. But he did get some people killed for the sake of getting a human body. I don't know how I feel about him. He's a little morally flexible, huh?
Yeah.
So they wind up having a fight, but Robot has to leave because there's a call for the Guardians. But he has to reveal himself now, and Rexplode's kind of freaked out because he's like, why do you look like me? And really what this is all about is that Robot is in love with Monster Girl.
Aww.
Isn't that cute?
So
Kinda.
cute.
Is it cute or is it creepy? I don't know. Like, she's a teenage girl or a preteen girl, but she's got the mind of a 25-year-old woman. And now he's a teenage or preteen boy who has the mind of a 30-something-year-old man that was stuck in that deformed body.
It's weird.
I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if it's creepy. Might be a little bit creepy. I mean, the way he got his body and the fact that he's going to grow up looking exactly like Rexplode.
Mm-hmm. Why didn't he just use somebody else?
That's what I was wondering. or someone that
isn't in the team.
Right. Like maybe go to the gravesite. I mean, they found the Mahler twins found Immortal's body, no problem. Go back to the gravesite and take like Darkwing's DNA.
Sure.
Because no one's going to recognize teenage Darkwing. That would have been smarter. Robot wasn't thinking this so clearly, I guess. All right. So there's that whole thing with Rudy Robot. Fine. But then what is really going on? Because the whole Rudy leaving and going back to the Guardians thing was because there's a crisis. So we know Debbie is now hiding out with Cecil. She's left home because she's afraid of Nolan because she knows the truth. Donald, the Cecil's second in command, had been monitoring everything that Nolan and Mark were doing from across the street. He gets murdered.
Mm-hmm.
They sent in a bunch of like
normals,
shock troops to try to like shoot Nolan to death. That's just stupid. Just stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Donald is dead now. And Nolan needs to find Mark. That's his number one priority because Mark needs to understand the truth or something like that. And Mark's hanging out with Eve, going like, why did Amber dump me? My life sucks. They keep trying to slow Nolan down. They have like an orbital space laser thing that doesn't really do much to Mark, but does do a lot of Nolan, but does do a lot of damage to the Earth. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And eventually they unleash a thing that we saw at the end of one episode that looks a lot like Cthulhu, but with maybe more teeth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So Cecil unleashes Cthulhu. I guess Nolan barely beat it the first time around, but now they added drugs and steroids and enhancements and things to it. So it's super tough Cthulhu. Huge battle starts, but shit's happening from a distance. Mark and Eve go to investigate because they're heroes. So Mark winds up trying to help his dad beat this monster. Oopsie doopsies. Meanwhile, the Maulers resurrect Immortal, I think just by sticking his head back on his body, because he's immortal. And then they put the mind control collar on him, and it turns out that thing doesn't work. Robot gave them bad schematics. Mm-hmm. So Immortal we see him remembering hundreds of years of life, all his past deeds, and then Nolan killing him.
Right.
And he freaks the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Which was awesome. I loved it. And he goes berserk and just flies off to find Nolan wherever he is. I think it was Mark that wound up taking out Cthulhu with electricity from a power line. And meanwhile, Nolan had a huge battle with Immortal. It was a good fight, but then he winds up just punching right through Immortal's chest and ripping him in half. Which was being broadcast, on national television. So that's cool. Yeah, it's like, on one hand, Omni-Man, everyone's like, oh, Omni-Man versus the big kaiju monster, like, go Omni-Man, yay, because he's their hero. On the other hand, you don't usually see heroes punch all the way through other heroes. I think that might have been a PR disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nolan's like, we gotta talk. And that leads us to the final episode of the season. Episode 8. So then we get Nolan's real story. He explains everything to Mark. He's finally honest with someone. He wouldn't be honest with Debbie, but he was honest with Mark. So what were you saying about the past of the Viltrumites?
They needed to be all powerful, so they weeded out all the weak by fighting each other until there was nothing but powerful people left.
Yeah, he said they cut their population by about half.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, they were all superpowered anyway, right?
And then what's the point of going to rule other worlds?
I don't understand a lot of this, yeah. It's a plot that doesn't necessarily make sense yet. Hopefully it'll make more sense, because they just decide to conquer other planets and turn them into the Viltrumite Empire. But...
what's the point? They're half population. They don't need it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what is it they're looking for? Do they just want power? Do they need resources from other planets? Something else? Yeah, it's a little confusing. I don't know why you'd bother conquering all these lesser races. Yeah. Unless you're just...
an asshole.
An asshole. It's a planet full of assholes.
Yeah, well, he is kind of an asshole.
I guess that could be.
What's interesting to me is that he seems to have been happy all along, up until the point that Mark got his powers, and then he turned into the asshole.
Well, but he had... oh, wait. Oh. Wait, that's interesting. No, I hadn't thought about it this way before, but you're onto something. He didn't kill the Guardians until after he started training Mark to be a hero.
Right.
Some switch got flipped in his head at that point, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Maybe that was what he was supposed to do, is like go to Earth and impregnate somebody, have a kid, and then take over for some reason.
Well, if that was part of his mission, he didn't say it, but maybe knowing that he was able to pass on his Viltrumite DNA made him think, like, now is the time to strike. I don't know. Something
it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy with, what's his name? Kurt Russell.
Oh, Ego the Living Planet.
Yeah.
How he wanted to...
populate. Didn't he want to populate?
He wanted to populate other planets with himself.
Right.
Yes, that was a thing. And having his son around just made it like, now's the time, I guess. Yeah, very weird. Yeah, I don't know. That one maybe didn't make a lot of sense either. Why now?
Maybe it will make sense.
Maybe my son will be impressed if I destroy most of the universe and turn it all into me. I don't know. So it turns out that the Viltrumites decided to conquer the universe, but they wound up getting spread a little thin. So the new tactic was to send individual volunteers to planets, not to be their hero, but to weaken them and get them ready for conquering. To which I will again say, I feel like Nolan could have done that all by himself a long time ago. Like, he was able to beat the Guardians of the Globe, and it wasn't easy, but if he had conquered Earth 20 years earlier, like...
yeah, kind of strange.
Yeah.
There must be a plan.
There's got to be something else to it. But it implies that he killed the Guardians of the Globe to make sure Earth was weak enough for conquering. But he wants Mark to join him in the conquering and thought that he could do that just through a simple conversation.
Yeah.
Maybe he just thought his innate Viltrumite self would be like, conquering does sound good, Dad. Thanks.
Right. I think that's what he did think.
This is a good idea.
It's in your blood.
Yep. So then Mark, of course, says no. He loves his mom, who Nolan saw as more of a puppy. He loves his mom. He loves his friends. He loves Earth. And they fight forever. Like, maybe a little bit too long. Was the ass kicking of Mark. He gets a couple blows in on Nolan, but he doesn't get much.
But he really kicks his butt.
Nolan kicks his ass. They were out in like the middle of nowhere at first, but they wind up landing eventually in Chicago, destroying lots of buildings and a whole subway system. You want to talk about that real quick?
Oh my God.
I had heard someone say in advance, like, it's something about Invincible and oh my God, the subway scene. And I didn't know what was coming. Sorry, my chair's a little noisy. I didn't know what was coming, but why don't you take us through it real quick, babe?
Well, I mean, basically, Nolan just grabs Mark and by the head.
By the head, yeah.
And puts him in front of an oncoming subway, whatever you call them. Train. And the train plows through his face, killing all of the people basically inside. He's like just plowing through the people, and people are just getting eviscerated. I don't know.
They're kind of exploding
right
on Mark.
Mm-hmm. So he like had to watch that. His eyes were like wide open the whole time, and he had to watch himself. And he had just been like, I want to protect people. You should be protecting Earth. He just killed like hundreds of people, and it was a disaster.
And I guess Nolan's point was like, look how fragile and weak these stupid people are. Why do you want to protect them?
They mean nothing.
Yeah, they mean nothing. Which again, why would you want to conquer the planet? Yeah.
But it was pretty bad.
Now, there is a flip side to it that I also don't understand, which would be, I mean, I would have, if I was Mark, well, Mark was thinking as like a teenager, so whatever. But if I was in Mark's position, I would just be like, okay, you want to conquer Earth. I get that. So just tell me this. What happens to Earth if it joins the Viltrumite Empire? If we just say today, fine, Earth will join the Viltrumite Empire, what happens then? If it's like a Nazi genocide kind of thing, then obviously you have to try to fight Nolan. But if it's like, well, you guys will just, pay us some taxes, and in return we'll give you some cool new technology gadgets to play with, and you just have to be loyal to us.
Yeah.
That might be okay if it saves millions of lives. I don't know. Would it? Like,
it'd be better than dying.
Yeah, right. And I guess we just don't know enough about like what's the big deal. Why are the Viltrumite Empire? What are they doing? Mm-hmm. What are they doing? Damn it! I need to know. And why would they want Earth if Earth was so weak?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, so the subway bad. Like most of downtown Chicago is just kind of decimated. And then they wind up, I think, at Mount Everest, where they had gone earlier in the series. And he's about to kill Mark. He just
pounds him and pounds him and pounds him into the ground.
Yeah. I mean, as the actor, as Steven Yeun, who used to play Glenn on Walking Dead, who met a very bad fate involving his head. I wonder if part of him's thinking, like, am I being typecast as someone whose head's going to get crushed for all eternity? But at the very end, Nolan has some flashbacks to Mark's childhood and realizes, like, well, I guess I do kind of love the boy. And then he leaves.
Yeah.
He just leaves Mark bleeding out on a mountainside and takes off into space. Yep. So Mark goes back into the hospital.
He's, pretty much not invincible.
No, he's definitely not invincible.
Although, I mean, he did take a beating.
Yeah, and he gets better. He recovers quickly. I think the first time was like a week he was in the hospital. The second time was like 2 weeks that he had to rest up. So he heals fast. That's nice. Amber comes back and they reconcile. She's like, I know you're just trying to do the right thing or whatever, and let's just start over. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Although I was kind of rooting for Mark and Eve because Eve's so cool. Like, Amber's cool in her own way, but Eve's pretty awesome. I don't know. And then Alan the alien comes back to apologize for all the confusion before about the whole Urath Earth thing. And he never would have come to Earth in the first place if he knew that it had been claimed by a Viltrumite. That's kind of a big deal. The coalition of planets doesn't want to anger the Viltrumite Empire.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he must have learned that from the Martians.
Maybe. Or maybe it was something Mark said. I don't remember. But he apologized for all the confusion. They were just kind of chit-chatting and catching up. But he says, wait, so Nolan just left? Omni-Man just left? Viltrumites don't leave the planets they're assigned to until they're conquered. Something crazy is going to happen. As soon as the Viltrumite people find out, they're probably going to send a fleet to Earth to conquer or destroy it. But the Coalition of Planets is getting a little tired of Viltrum's shit. So maybe they can help.
I hope so.
I don't think we're going to find out much in season 2, because this is how it all sort of winds up, right? But season 2, they do just this little like, well, Nolan's gone and I got to become the best hero I can be and be ready to face him. And then they just do a montage of all sorts of stuff happening. The Mahler's getting arrested again. We see Immortal isn't actually dead again after all. They're fixing him up. Cecil's fixing him up. Cecil is also still making more cyborg robots.
Right.
With D.A.
A bunch.
Strange, Sinclair, whatever his name is. We see a shot of the Flaxans on their home planet making new plans, no doubt to invade Earth again. The Martians, we see them still having problems with their parasites, but something's going to happen in season 2, I'm sure. We see a clip of Battle Beast reminding us that he's still out there, the guy that really kicked Mark's ass. So we see all these things. I imagine most of that is going to be season 2 stuff. I think Alan the Alien even said something like, if other people find out that the Viltrumite is no longer on Earth, they might come for Earth themselves. Now we just have to wait for season 2, which I think is coming sometime next year.
I can't wait.
But, wow, I mean, impressive show.
Yes.
Lots of twists and turns.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Lots of violence. Amazing voice acting talent. Can we just talk about that real quick? And then we'll sign off. Because, I mean, we know Stephen Yen is Mark. Nolan was J.K. Simmons. Very recognizable voice when you stop and think about it. Sandra Oh as Debbie. Amber was Zazie Beetz. You know who that is?
Mm-mm.
You know her from the second Deadpool movie. She was Domino. The chick with the super luck.
Don't remember.
His sidekick, black girl. All right, never mind. Cecil was played by Walton Goggins. I know you don't know who that is, but I love him. Gillian Jacobs played Adam Eve. She's from Community. She was, what's her face on Community? Zachary Quinto played Robot. You know him as, what do you know him as? Does the name ring a bell?
Nope.
Oh, American Horror Story Season 2, the guy who was the evil psychiatrist. Also, he plays Spock in the new Star Trek movies. He's been in a lot of things.
Okay.
Jason Mantzoukas, of course. Kari Payton. He was Black Samson, and he is from Walking Dead as well. Plays the King.
Oh.
What the fuck is his name? You know who I'm talking about. Yep. Mark Hamill is Art Rosenbaum.
Ezekiel.
Ross Marquand was Immortal. He's also from The Walking Dead as the Aaron, the one-armed guy. Ezekiel, yeah, that's it. Clancy Brown played Damien Darkblood. He's so cool. Titan was Mahershala Ali. You know him at least from, I want to say it was Luke Cage. He was the bad guy in Luke Cage. Nope. All right. Just a great cast all around. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it was good all over the place. Oh, War Woman was Lauren Cohan from Walking Dead.
Interesting.
Yeah, just a great cast. Great voice actors. So yeah, I'm very impressed. So whoever it was that was telling us we should watch it, thank you.
Yes.
I can't remember who right now. But a good recommendation, and it's just another one to add to our list of shows that we're trying our best to follow.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing next? I don't know that we made a plan for our next outing.
Maybe we should watch Wire.
Whew, that's a commitment. I don't
Is
know
it?
that we have time for that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bunch of seasons. We do have in November and December big things coming up. So we got to start bracing ourselves for those. November is going to be The Wheel of Time. And then December is the return of The Witcher Season 2.
Yay.
We'll probably be getting back together with Lore Master Kevin for a bunch of those things. He's read the Wheel of Time books, so that'll be helpful.
No, good.
I know I don't have the time for it. But between now and November, we'll find some things to fill our time with. If you have any more recommendations, let us know. I know we still have to at least check out The Boys, sort of like a little spin-off thing, the news show. Maybe catch up on The Boys too before that comes back. Yep. But if you have any recommendations, again, reach out to us. You know how to find us. It's all in the show notes. We already said it once. So there we go. Until next time. Did Invincible have a catchphrase? I don't think he did. I want to say Excelsior again, but I feel like I go to that a lot.
Nope.
Excelsior!